in the first week, it feels like, oh, are you sure I can make this amount in it? Like, is it too high? Like, I'm not sure. But it's, yeah, implementing that belief from the word go, helping you work towards that goal, even with that belief. But yeah,
Okay, so now it feels more attainable, right?
because you believe it, yes.
Okay, because I believe it or because you believe it.
I, I, I have now taken it to apply it to myself and convince myself this is actually obtainable. Like
Mm.
this is very much possible.
I like this approach. You're giving me an idea as well. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I don't put pressure on you guys now to know your math automatically. We're kind of just establishing building blocks now, where I want you guys first to get comfortable with knowing your client's buyer type. Then I want you to get comfortable with understanding your value proposition. Then once those two meet, we start to use sales psychology and using the power of both Neuro and Claude, because I've given a challenge to Tato to give Claude a chance to take everything, tell Claude the buyer type and all that information as well, give Claude the proposal that Neuro generated and feels, yeah, okay, this is something I would say, but like, not that much. Give it to Claude, give Claude directions, like improve it in such and such a way, take it back to Neuro and be like, this is what I'm going to say, and then compare what I'm going to say to what you've been saying, and then try to merge the two. And Neuro is able to take the feedback. Like we had a conversation, myself and Neuro, and I was like to Neuro, here's what I said. And Neuro said, okay, I'll compare what you said to what I said. And I was like, well, hold on, player. I was very surprised because Neuro was literally saying I still maintained my tone to your ideal client by speaking in this way, whereas you were focused on being more conversational, more humanistic, more personable. And that is, when you think about it, for a methodical buyer with a touch of skeptical, it's pretty not that good, right? So we had that conversation myself with Nira. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys what it looks like. And from that, I was able to say, okay, well, please combine the two, I guess, because I don't want to miss anything. Like, I respect your opinion, but your tone is all wrong, right? So you can do it that way as well. Okay. Do we have any other questions before I move on and show you guys how it works on Neuro? Or do you guys just want to see Neuro? Okay, let me quickly show you guys Neuro, and then we'll move on to Nkosana and find out what the plans are for this week. Okay, let's do it that way. And if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome. Hello, hi. Nice to see you. Share my screen. We got a lot going on. I got a lot going on. Okay. Here, let me know if you can see my screen now. But I want to show you how it works with Neuro. And let's check the chat quickly. Nicole would like to see Neuro. Yes. Okay, looking good. Thank you. Thanks, Nicole. All right, so this is essentially what I said. I said, here's a more conversational take. Hi, I understand. And by the by, you can probably see that this was written by Claude. It's not written by me. And so, ta-da-da-da-da, done. Neuro looks at it and goes, well, your version is more conversational, while the version I provided is slightly more formal and focused on agitating the pain points directly. So here's a breakdown of the differences. Ooh, tone and structure. Your copy, it's casual, it's conversational. It's great for building rapport. You emphasize your understanding of their challenges and the value of video content for engagement and retention, you come across as approachable and practical. But my copy, slightly more structured and formal, aiming to agitate the client's pain points. See, so this is the issue. I was building rapport in the very first line, whereas Neuro's job is to agitate the pain points in the first few lines to grab attention. And when you look at it from a sales psychology perspective, Neuro's methodology is much more effective than coming in like a friend of a friend. So already agitating the pain points, so you're cutting to the chase. Then I mentioned onboarding challenges and the complexity of systems, but focus on how video is engaging and helpful, whereas Neuro framed the client's need around the risk of confusion and inefficiencies that come with complex systems and large teams. Again, remember, this is a methodical buyer who was actually slightly skeptical. So that was really, really tough to work with. You focus on taking the 104-page manual and converting it into engaging practical modules. I focus on process streamlining and departmental training, which is, again, do you see the difference? You ask more open-ended questions. I ask specific targeted questions. I use phrases like, does this resonate? That is something that I would say. Or do you understand what I'm saying? Or like, do you get it? Or does that make sense? That's something that I would say. Whereas Neuro asks specific questions regarding the actual project, aiming to maybe make them think about their current way of approaching things versus how they could approach things with me. So Neuro's already doing the future part, already saying, okay, imagine me on your team, whereas I'm still like, yes or no, let me know. And these are not rhetorical questions. They are open-ended questions. So I am encouraging the conversation. It's still effective. It's just, is it effective for the specific buyer type? So you can see like there's a ping pong match going on between my style and Euro style. Then the positioning of expertise. I position myself as someone who can offer practical solutions, whereas Neuro positions themselves as a process improvement expert. So yeah, practical solutions are great, but not for a methodical buyer. Practical solutions are fantastic for a humanistic buyer, but not so much for a methodical buyer. I leave the conversation open, inviting them to share concerns, whereas Neuro frames the investment as worthwhile. So Neuro's already trying to get over the price objection. Again, sales psychology, whereas I'm taking a more neuromarketing approach. So I haven't even touched on sales. Can you see that? So overall, I'm relatable, conversational, designed to make the client feel comfortable and at ease with the conversation, whereas Neuro is more pain point driven, solution oriented, with an emphasis on highlighting immediate benefits that Neuro will bring to the challenges. They have their own unique strength, whereas mine's friendly, humanistic, Neuro's is methodical and problem solving, which is exactly what methodical, analytical, skeptical buyers do, and driver buyers do typically look for. So then I was like, well, let's combine the two without sounding like we're pitching, because I don't know. That's why I went with relatable and conversational, but I still want to maintain the methodical and problem solving framework. So Neuro goes, okay, fantastic idea. And Neuro goes in and does all the things, right? And we were done. Then I want you to remember that this is a conversation, and just because Neuro analyzed everything right at the top, if Neuro analyzes everything and gives you the agitating questions, the pain points, the known and unknown symptoms, and doesn't incorporate them into the cover letter, you can go back and say, what about the fact that I'm not from the Philippines, but that I have 10 plus years of experience working in remote, whatever. Let's reframe this as a good thing. Because remember, you want to reframe that, right? So let's see where we attack it here. My extensive experience, diverse teams allows me to bring a fresh perspective, right? And then we go in while addressing this elephant in the room. So that was done to reframe it. And I said, what's the word count? 325. I said, let's keep it at that. So cut down on the fluff. I said, did you miss the part where the client asked questions? Boom. Now Neuro's going in and then answering the questions separate from the proposal. So that's essentially what I want to show you guys, is that you do not have to be like, this is what Neuro gave me. Continue the conversation with Neuro until you are satisfied that every single part of the proposal was handled. Neuro should be answering the additional questions separate from the proposal. And if Neuro's not doing that, tell Neuro. Neuro should be maintaining certain things. And if Neuro's not doing that, remind Neuro. It's totally okay. Like if Neuro's not asking you for your name and your hourly rate, be like, what about my name and my hourly rate? And Neuro will be like, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, tell me and I'll incorporate how that's a win-win. Okay, back to the matter at hand. Just to recap for those who just joined us, Kaya this week is really focused on sending 4 proposals per day because he wants to A/B test this, working with Neuro and Claude and Neuro, and then sending and seeing how that works. And then a good friend, Paul, is working on making sure that the 3 medium wins turn into win-wins. And then Kato this week is focusing on the challenge that I gave him, which is for every 3 proposals he sends, 2 have to be Neuro and Claude, 1 can be Neuro by Neuro alone. That way, we feel out what's going on. Bernarda is doing amazing. She has already started her journey from 0 to hero, is what I like to call it, but she's starting from the no dollars to 5 figures, or from no figures to 5 figures journey. And so she's journaling through it. And a lot of, actually, thanks to Bernarda, a lot of squad members are now starting to remember that, oh yeah, we have a whole journaling element. So besides having one-on-one, daily group coaching, as well as the course, we also have journaling. So we have nice private therapy sessions, even outside of one-on-one inside the squad. So we have like so many different ways for you to learn, express yourself, and make sure that any fears or any imposter syndrome that you might be having is handled. Speaking of imposter syndrome, Impa said something that I thought was really, really valid. She said that her advice to anyone that's joining the squad, which is the title of this live session, to be goal-oriented. It's so important for you, once you understand your buyer type, once you understand your value proposition, once you have a fully complete portfolio where you understand and you are tailored to market needs, it's so important for you then to dial it back and remember what it is that you want to get out of the process. If it's a certain amount of money, be very specific about how much you want to make and why. So if you just say, I want to make a lot of money, or I want to be a millionaire, why? If you don't have a why, you'll make up excuses not to hit those targets. So make small mini goals so that you get to where you want to be. And speaking of that, my question to you, Nkosana, welcome to the squad, is
Yes,
first of all,
welcome.
what are your goals or your intentions for this week? And secondly, what is the advice, knowing what you know now, that you would have given yourself when you joined the squad on day 1? I'm sure this will help. I'm sure this will help other people who are like on the fence about, do I want to join? Or what am I going to get out of this? I don't feel comfortable. I don't think it's worth it. Other people are selling a course for 1,000 rands and it's like, there, I have it forever and I don't have to pay every month. So what is your advice for yourself when you started this process? Welcome, Emil.
Just to understand the question, you mean the advice that I'll give to myself, having understood the course to where I am right now?
Exactly.
Yes, my advice to myself will be to be strategic and be intentional with what I would like to do. Because when I first got to the platform, my approach was that I know my role as a sound engineer and a video editor, so I'm just going to go ahead and approach the clients and tell them how good I am at what I do and all of that stuff. And it didn't work out very well. I wasted a lot of connects and yeah, looking back now, I would tell myself to just take it easy, learn the platform, and then have a strategy of going about things.
Brilliant. So
And then,
what did you have pressure on yourself? Sorry to interrupt, but did you put any pressure on yourself to like understand everything really, really quickly? Speaking of understanding the platform.
yes, I was a little bit hurried, and yes, the hurry was coming from myself, obviously. So I wanted to get over the line and get my first client as soon as possible, which obviously is still the aim, even now. But I feel now I understand how to go about things, and I'm confident about the approach that I would take. And to answer your second question, my approach, my goal for this week is to send at least five proposals in a strategic way and with the information that I've learned so far.
Right. Okay, so we went there and was like, round of applause. I know. Like, new members of the squad are actually pushing the OGs to like pick it up and like go harder because unfortunately we've been like cruising in the squad. Have you guys noticed there was like a lull for a second? Everyone's just cruising, and then the new people come through and they're like, win, 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 win. Bernarda's like, yeah, I'm chilling, I'm doing me. Alice is fully booked out. What is going on? Why is this happening? And so, like, that little bit of pressure, Tato's laughing because we spoke about this earlier. That little piece of pressure just made the OGs, Zola, I see you, start having wins because they were like, okay, what are these newbies doing that we've kind of just stopped doing? Or maybe what are they doing differently? And so you guys have brought an amazing energy to the squad. I just want to let you guys know. Um, Zola, I'd like to hear from you. Based on what you learned last week, what are your intentions for this week? And then on top of that, I would like to hear the advice you would give yourself your very first day of joining the squad.
Evening squad. Uh, yes, what my intentions are for this week is I've realized that my input towards the community at uh at Upwork, it's I think it's slowly paying off because I make it intentional to go on the groups, go on the community, participate. So I don't know if I'm getting noticed or what, but I feel like it's working. So I'm still gonna continue this week, replying on people, asking for advice, and I think it's working in my favor because last week I haven't been applying, just studying my biotypes, my clients, and just making sure that I'm on point because I realize the wasting of connects, it's really like a drawback because you don't know what you're doing and you're just like wasting money and we're here for the money, not to waste the money. So that's I'm continuing with that because it makes me feel good when I get those
Mm.
badges. Because after 2 days after participating, you get those badges and you're like, oh, okay, at least I'm doing something because I'm logging on. The second question was advice for myself. Remember
When you
when I
just
first
started
started,
out.
guys? Yes, I remember Kaya and then Paul would know this. I used to type the fear of the unknown, the fear of unknown, where you like you've got all the information, but you just get to just give it give it your all. I remember I used to type that constantly and I stopped. I like, do you fear now? Because you know what you need to do, you know the plan, you've got a mentor. So yeah, aside and keep pushing. So I'll give that to myself because I feared a lot. But having the squad with me,
Mhm.
I'm like, I can do this. It's doable. I see people in front of me doing it. It's achievable. So fear aside, I'll tell that to myself.
Okay, I like this. That was very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Zola. Lebakham, what do you think?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so on my end, my goal was to send more proposals, and now Kaya has just come out and said 20, where I was like on 10 to So I reworked my profile last week, went through all the paid pillars, and I got a viewing on Friday night. After everything, I did one proposal, got a view. Yesterday I did another proposal, got a view, and now this morning I wanted to do another one, but I was like, let me not waste connect because our one-on-one is tomorrow. I want you to look at my proposals and then advise as to am I just wasting money or am I getting views because I'm literally fresh? Like literally, I was like, I wake up first thing in the morning and I look at the ones that are like less than an hour old, and maybe I'm just getting viewed because I'm the first one to respond, not necessarily because I'm giving a good pitch, you know. And then so yeah, I'm moving from just being viewed to being interviewed, and then 10 to 20, we'll see how it goes, but I'm coming for Kaya's seat. I like a challenge. And then yeah.
Let's go.
And then yeah, thank you, Kaya. Then when it comes to advice I would have given myself, I'm literally like 2 weeks into this, and I think I am doing quite well. So yeah, I don't have
I
much advice.
know. Something's in the water with I said this before, something's in the water with the new members of the squad. You guys are not here to play. You're like, Christmas is how many months away? Good, got it. So I you guys, hats off. I don't have a hat, but hats off. Amazing. Speaking of new members, Nicole, what, based on what we learned last week, what are your intentions and your goals for this week? And also, what would you advise yourself on your very first day inside the squad?
My goals and intentions for this week are to really complete my profile and have a portfolio of at least by Friday. I can possibly start putting out proposals. Right now, I'm still working on my documents. So I've almost completed all of the videos, and yeah, so that's my intention moving forward. And then my what I would tell myself starting over would be number one, the book we're gonna win. So would be to book the one-on-one first. Do you hear me better? Perfect.
So
And
much better, so much better.
awesome. So yeah, to book the one-on-one first, and also to ask questions because I'm more of a person to listen and sit back and just listen to what everyone else is saying. So I would just ask questions.
That is so good. Which is something that when you join the squad now, I like email, because I noticed a lot of people were just going on a binge spree in the paid pillars. Like, I gotta get that little thing to 100%. You really don't have to. In fact, it's fine if it's only at 20%, 30%, 10%, because it means you're going back and you're watching things and you're watching things. So don't focus on trying to get your rate to 100%. There are other ways I'll be able to tell whether or not you guys are hitting your targets. So don't even sweat it. What I do also agree with you on is scheduling that one-on-one to kind of get the lay of the land. It's totally fine for us to use your one-on-one session to begin your Upwork journey, as in establish the account, do all the things together, your skills, all of the things, literally help you with that, and then establish your portfolio together and your title and your overview based on what the market wants, which is also based on your interests or your skills. So I like that you noted that, oh, If I could just turn back time, I would have told myself, number one, chill and book your one-on-one. That's the first order of business. Second, only handle the first module in the paid pillars and wait, because it's okay. We're going to do everything together. And I also really, really liked what Libo Khan said, which was, I don't want to send any more proposals because we have a one-on-one tomorrow and I would like you to review what I've done so far so I can move forward. Yes, ask the questions, right, Nicole? And get the feedback so you can move forward. Okay. Oh, she mentioned that Nicole says, sorry, her volume is low. The headphones don't have a mic. That's totally okay. It's totally okay. We managed to understand, get the gist of what you were saying. And the next person who was going to share with us what they learned last week and how that set creating their intentions for this week was Emil, but Emil was like, oh, I'm a dip. So Emil is gone. Emil, if you're out there, looking forward to seeing you again. What's going on, YouTube? Do you guys have any questions for myself or for the squad? Just a quick reminder. Let's just see if I can remember this off the top of my head. Nicole is in the automation space. Zola is in the journalism, digital marketing, and videography space. Hado is in the PPC, media buyer marketing space. And Kostana is in the videography, video editing, podcasting space. Mpoa is in the graphics design, visual design, marketing strategy, and brand strategy space. Bernada is in the, this is where it gets like really complicated for me. So I'm like struggling to remember. We got to do one more one-on-one. Let me see. Bernada is in the, I have it written down, SaaS startup copywriting space. And then Kaya is in the PPC media buyer and yeah, he does a lot of things, to be quite honest. Space, it's not even just PPC media buyer because it also involves funnel building. It's a lot. It's a lot. So he's upskilled to get to the point where there's also funnel building in the building. So really excited about that. So if you're watching us on YouTube, if any of this sounds like something that you might be interested in, yeah, I remember a lot. If it sounds like something you might be interested in, or you have questions based on those particular niches, why don't you just ask your question right now in the chat? YouTube, 13 of you are watching right now. You got any questions? Let me know. And if you want to join us on Zoom, you can. All you have to do is click on the Join Now button. So I'm going to give you guys the link to join us on Zoom. Okay. Oh, somebody raised their hand on Zoom. What's up? Yes, Sola?
Yes, Bailey. Can I just quickly ask this one? Maybe it's gonna help the new guys or even the OGs. When you constantly change your title, because you know us, we are talented. We know how to do we know how to do a lot of
I was
things.
going to say shiny object syndrome.
And sometimes you can't help it but think when it comes to Upwork, am I doing too much or am I doing too little? And then you end up changing your title maybe after a week, after 2 weeks. Does that actually affect your profile or your viewing? Or please elaborate on that, please.
Changing your title doesn't do anything bad. Now, I just want you to remember that because we're working with an algorithm, there is like a time when you're not being indexed according to what you've changed the title to. You need to give the
Okay.
algorithm time for you to finally, like if you went from content writer and now you call yourself a copywriter who also does brand strategy, right? And uses
Yes.
neuromarketing. That's just an example.
Okay.
and you did it very recently, like let's say just now, then you need to know that it's going to take until Sunday, or best case scenario, maybe Friday, for the algorithm to recognize you as a copywriter now, since you're no longer a content writer. So changing like chopping and changing your title is not a bad thing, as long as you understand that there is a period where there's a gray area. There's nothing happening. Like, and if a client is searching for you according to your new niche, they may not find you. But if they're searching for you according to your name, they'll find you. And that is why, Sola,
Okay.
it's so smart of you to be in the community, because you're getting your name out there. Guys, you might think having your name out there on Upwork is no big deal, but you can genuinely become an Upwork influencer by having your name out there on the platform. And that actually helps you when you remember the fact that some freelancers are also hiring on the platform. Some freelancers are agency owners on the platform. And so if they like your style, they like your vibe, they like your advice, they're more than likely to headhunt you, which is where they start the conversation. They don't even create a project. They literally reach out to you, talk to you, and ask you if you'd be interested in working with them on XYZ project or joining their agency. So it is a very integral part of your personal brand marketing. You can have a personal brand as an Upwork freelancer. It's the same way as you can have a personal brand on LinkedIn. Same way you can have a personal brand on Instagram or YouTube. It's all the same because there's a search algorithm. Okay, that was a good
Thank you so
question. Paul,
much,
you had
Ellie.
your hand up. You're welcome.
Thank
Paul, you
you.
had your hand up. What's up?
Yeah. So my question is actually about yeah. You see how sometimes we rely on AI for certain skills. For example, you know how it can even create websites these days. So how does it look like if I call myself a website designer, but yet I don't know I don't understand the JavaScript and the coding stuff, you know? Will that catch up to me later? Or
No.
okay.
It's again, it's about messaging and framing. So if you can build, like, yes, you can. If you can use Figma and you can build really aesthetically pleasing user interfaces, UI, and you understand the fundamentals of user experience, which is why you will put certain buttons, certain functions on certain areas. If you can do UI, UX as a graphics designer, that means that you can do front end for website. So you can design what the website is supposed to look like and then hand it over to someone who's the developer, who is, their job is the one to figure out the CSS code for all the elements you've put in place. Their job is to find out the HTML. Their job is to figure out the Java. Their job is to do all the things that happen in the back end. So, and even figure out how they're going to deploy this website, like what's the best platform to use, what's the best host, and etc. So you don't have to worry about that. You can just worry about making really slick, 3D is the new thing now, really slick websites, and let somebody else worry about back end. So you can just call yourself a front end website designer, or just simply a website designer, and then somebody else can do the web developing. So if you are doing both front end and back end, we call you full stack, right? You're end to end, full stack web developer and designer. So no, you can even design apps, honey, and somebody else needs to figure out how to deploy them. A little challenge for you employees: go to bubble.io and go design apps, and then put that in your portfolio. And you can just say front end app developer or front end app designer or front end UI UX app designer. So yeah, like there's so much. People, if you're curious about it and you're interested in it, there's a huge chance there's a market for it. And there is a market for it. Even though we have all these tools, it's a lot of tools to know. even if there's a website called, there's an AI for that. Not everyone wants to bridge that knowledge symmetry gap. Like nobody, some people just don't have the time in the day to learn yet another AI tool. And so that's where people like us come in. If you can close the gap, get rid of friction, get the product to market as soon as possible. They call it an MVP in tech. You're good. You're aces. Let's check on the questions on
Awesome.
YouTube.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Zinta says, how does one upscale on PPC? I'll ask the PPC freelancer. Kaya, how would you upscale?
So it's two things really. Starting to learn a course, like that's where you're going to get to understand. Get a course, Udemy and Google tends to have like some free courses as well. And Coursera is also a good place. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. But get a course done. Once you start getting those fundamentals in, it's always good to start practicing as well. I'm going to be honest with you, Zintle, that you're going to have to put in some money just to practice. Or if you don't want to put in some money, or the biggest advice that just approach businesses to work for free so that you can just like get that on your portfolio. Um, it's gonna take you, I don't know, however long, just depending on how you want to get far within the industry. But get a course so that you get the fundamentals right. Then once you get there, do your own business or approach other businesses to do free work for them. And that way you get an understanding. And if you're curious enough, you're going to start talking to other people, reach out to other people on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook that are within your industry. Start building conversations with them just to see how do they do certain things. Yeah, and well, also YouTube's like the biggest university. So yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself because my corgi is being a crackhead downstairs. Tato, you're pretty much kind of also in the same industry. Do you have any advice? Tato says, very well said, Kaya. Oh, babies.
Well, Kaya pretty much said everything there is to say, but what I will say is depending on which platform is influenced to go in, so whether it's Facebook or Instagram ads or Google ads or TikTok ads, I would advise that if he doesn't have the money yet to invest in practicing, the platforms are basically free to use, not to advertise on. But you can go on the business side of Facebook and Instagram and TikTok or go to Google Ads and get used to the interface. If you have a little bit of money on the side, you can run a couple of mock ads, get used to it, and look at how the different platforms report back the results and just analyze and see what works and what doesn't. But literally, Kaya said everything that needs to be said.
Okay, Zinjay, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much, Tato. That was good. Uh, Faith is even like, yep, I'm going to write that down for myself. That was good. And we've got a hand up. Kaya, what's up?
So, geez, Bailey, this question has been lingering in my mind over this weekend, right? So we tend to send proposals, and whenever we send proposals, some agencies or some companies are in an industry that you are not familiar with. Like, I'm not familiar with blockchain. Why is it saying this? Oh, okay, I see. I'm not familiar with blockchain or like crypto. My understanding of it, like, it's very, very minimal. So
Mm.
how do you go about impressing somebody or the client? How do you go about showing them that you are the right person for that role whilst having like very minimal knowledge? But of course, prior to the interview with them or just chatting with them, you're going to do your own research so that you understand the lingo. But what are the strategies that are, because that tends to, prohibit me as well from applying.
I'll have to share my screen again because the very same project where you saw me reading the proposal I wrote versus the proposal that Nura wrote, was for a piece of technology or a piece of software I've never seen or heard of in my life. But I'm about to create videos, SOP videos about how to use the software and teach people. The nerve of me. So I'm going to show you my conversation with Neuro so that you guys can understand. This is even before a conversation with the client, and I made it abundantly clear to Neuro, homie, please, I don't want to hop on a Zoom call with this client. You can say that. You can, okay, let me show you. You can genuinely say to Neuro, don't make it happen. Like, don't do it. I don't want to hop on a call. I don't want to meet the client. I don't want to, let's just keep it chat and make sure that they feel comfortable with me anyway. So you can literally, honesty with Neuro is your best policy, because if you say I'm anxious about this, or you say I want to go about it this way, or I don't even know what step 1 is, Neuro will go, okay, don't worry, I got you. Shoot. Okay. So let me see if I can find my prompt where I was just like, okay, we're starting right at the tippy top. So it was, hey Neuro, hi, can I assist? Here's an Upwork project I found. All the deets are in there. Neuro told me the client name, hire rate, rate paid, their history, project price, their buyer type, all of that information, and then wrote a draft proposal just so that I can have that. And I said, my name is Bailey. Neuro said, got it. Here's the updated version of the proposal with your name. And done. So then I took this to Claude. And I said, here's what I wrote. What's the difference between this copy and the copy that you wrote? You saw that, right? And we went through that. So let's combine the two, but I still want to maintain the methodical and problem solving. Yeah. What about the fact that I'm not, but that I have? Let's reframe this as a good thing. What about the fact that I don't have any blockchain experience, but I have all the other bits of experience that they need? Let's reframe that as a good thing, right? And then Neuro does all of that good stuff. Then well done. What's the word count? Let's keep it to less than 300 words. YouTube, you guys are getting real sauce right now. Then I said, did you miss the part where the client asked questions? Handled. Then obviously the client is also asking this. Neuro, come on, where's your head at? So then I said, without rewriting the proposal, what are the unknown symptoms that the client I don't even know, pointing out in this question. So the client asked this question, and I was like, in my mind, okay, they are a skeptical buyer. They're methodical and skeptical, but I don't know how to use this piece of software. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't. And then Neuro went ahead and was like, this is how you address these concerns. And then I said, how long will it take? We only have a month. Neuro broke it down nicely and then went ahead and answered the question, even though the client asked the question about, be honest, let's not waste each other's time, right? You would then answer in one sentence if it was just you. But Neuro was like, oh, I see the underlying issue here, the unknown symptom. So Neuro went ahead and broke it down into 4 weeks and structured everything so that the client can feel like, oh, okay. I said, wow, well done. What about this question? I appreciate your directness, yada, yada, yada. I can guarantee that I'll fully understand your systems. I don't lie and say I understand. I say I will fully understand your systems and be ready. All because I said to Neuro, but what about this? Right? After I said, let's reframe things that so you literally treat Neuro as your assistant and Neuro will help you. I said, describe your recent experience. Neuro helped me out because I explained a previous project that I worked on. And that is how we got to the end. Honesty is the best policy with Neuro. Neuro is your assistant. Neuro is going to help you answer these questions. If blockchain is something you're not experienced in, okay, that's just a knowledge gap that you can bridge with Neuro's help. You could even say to Neuro, to make sure that they understand that I got this, give them step one. I went ahead and gave the entire 4-week breakdown based on those symptoms, those unknown symptoms that they were displaying in their additional questions. So additional questions are your best friend, because if you answer the additional questions really succinctly, all you need to do in your cover letter is just ask questions and close off with a strong CTA. And the CTA typically for me is let's chat. I don't want to hop on a Zoom call. I know a lot of y'all get the let's hop on a call. You can change that to let's chat if you don't want to hop on a Zoom call. And if you want to, you could say, here is a Zoom clip or a Loom video or a Komodo Dex video that I've just recorded for you. Have a look. And what that's going to do is show the client that you can speak English fluently. That was one of the prerequisites in this project, by the way. You can speak English fluently and you're good to go. And so then they'll see your style, your vibe, and they'll be able to make hiring decisions without ever hopping on a call with you, because you can say things like, why have meetings that could have been emails? Or there is a way to take something that is scary and reframe it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Okay, because I think that really helps because I wouldn't apply to certain jobs because I felt like I didn't have that much knowledge or experience around. But also I'd just like to add on. So with that proposal that I was viewed, I even went a step further to because this guy Dane he had his surname there as well. I was just curious enough to type out on Instagram, found his profile. And what I asked Neuro to please analyze his Instagram profile to understand what kind of guy that he is. Because I remember there was an Instagram thing that was trending where they said chat GPT to criticize your Instagram feed. So I figured that I can turn it around and actually you analyze his account to understand what type of guy he is. So he's very methodical, very straightforward, very blunt. He does not faff around. So I guess that's why also I got a response from him. So he hasn't responded back, but I'm just going to follow up with him tomorrow morning. I'd said to follow up with him tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
So I guess
fortune is in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a lot that we got from Kaya. I am now 2 minutes late to a one-on-one session with Lemisha. So let me see you guys later. And if you guys have any other questions, pop it in the Zoom comments, the YouTube comments, and we will definitely make sure that we answer those questions tomorrow. And then we can just do a regular schmegular PSS. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the squad this evening. I know a lot of y'all are tired, right? The days are moving fast, but the sleep is not coming. I don't know what that's about. Bye, YouTube.